Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast hosted by myself, Latera Ware. Guys, I told y'all I was going to stop coming on here looking just any type of way. And today, we got a t-shirt. Yes. But anyway, hello, everybody. Happy new week. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing grand, doing great. There's not too much new with me this week, to be very honest with you. At the time of recording this, there's not too much new at all. Yeah, I started my new class, like I told you guys last week. That's going well. It doesn't seem like it's going to be anything too overwhelming. I have classmates who were my classmates previously, so that's cool. Today is a beautiful day outside. I've been waking up. It's been a little cold for my liking. I definitely like the cold, and I would prefer to be cold than hot. But something about me getting older, I really do be missing the little Texas heat waves that be happening. Like, not them 110 degree girls, but that nice little 85, 90 degrees. But just on the outside, I don't want to sleep in that for sure. That's a little too much. What do you guys keep your house temperature at? I wonder. I know some people keep their house temps at I've heard some people say 50 degrees, and I hear that's not great for your energy bill. Probably if it's a little colder outside, right now, but I hear that's not good for your energy bill. So yeah. And then the people who sleep with their house at 75, 80, when it's hot, I toss and turn. I ricochet and ricochet. I hear that when you go into a deep sleep, it is also helped by the cold. So if it's colder in your house, you'll sleep deeper. I think that'd be some of my problems sometimes, and because it'd be real cold in here. When I have those mornings that I know I need to really get my ass up and get to it because I be playing around, I definitely have to set my thermostat at a smooth little 73, and a girl be shocking and rocking in her sleep sometimes, but I get up and I get to it. So that's what matters. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an amazing week this week. I hope you guys are getting everything that you want and more. Thank you guys as always for interacting with all the content and stuff like that that's been coming out. I really appreciate it. Been getting so many messages in support of my content and stuff I've been doing. And, it really means a lot. I'm going through something right now. I'm going through a mental uphill battle with myself about a situation that's not really a situation. It just feels like it's a situation. And you guys commenting and interacting is really getting me through the days. Really getting me through the days a lot more than you know. So I definitely always appreciate it. In this week's episode, I wanted to talk about the Imposter. Player Red is sus. I was sitting back thinking in my car as I drove home the other day, and just thinking about life, and thinking about how people talk to me more so about content and all this kind of stuff. I guess the growth and the process of the growth that happens when you start making content and you feel and you're really doing it. This came for me because I've made content, guys, for 10, 11 years. When I say that though, that means I would drop a video once a year for the first 4, 5 years I was on YouTube, maybe 6 low-key, because in the last 3 years is when I have been the most consistent with actually posting and not just falling off for months at a time. And I've also been creating shorts and doing this. And so I've really been content creating. I always told myself I am a content creator. When I talk to other people about me and what I do, I say I create content. I am this, I am that. It's been such a surreal thing for me coming into a space where people around me also identify me as a content creator. I'm yeah, it's just that little shit I do. You know what I mean? Not little shit I do, but that is how it be feeling. It really just be feeling this is what I do. And it's been crazy for me to wrap my mind around the fact that, yeah, dude, you legitly are a content creator now. I spend so much time doing this and doing this craft. And that was also another huge realization for me, is that I couldn't keep, it was in a way belittling myself. Like I couldn't keep belittling myself when I really accounted for all my time in a day. I have such jam-packed days, usually from the moment I wake up to the moment I go back to sleep, and then I get ready to do it all again the next day. And a big part of the stuff that I do in a day, especially on like my off days when I'm supposed to be recharging, is making content, is literally editing these videos, doing all this, because I think to myself, if I wasn't doing this, I would have so many hours back to my life, days, weeks back and added into my life that I've spent literally creating content. So it was really crazy for me to think and be like, why am I not living in the truth of the fact that like I am a content creator and this is something that I want to pursue seriously? So why not live in that fact? And I think I was scared. Like I think that I was really scared because everything is all fun and games when you're doing something is like a hobby and you have no real expectation put on it. You have no real goals and stuff set for it. Like you might have a goal, but it's not a goal that's like, if you don't do it, it feels like the end of the world, because we're just playing around. We're just having fun. We're just going and doing our hobbies. This is a hobby. This is a hobby that has turned into a career. I put the amount of time and hours into it like I work in this career field. And that was really hard for me, I guess. I guess it was hard because once I switched my mind to think that, I started to have goals. I started to have expectations. If you're someone who has followed my like main channel content for the longest time ever, you will know that in the beginning of me making content, I would always say that this is just a video diary to myself. So I can look back when I'm 60, 70 and look at these videos and be like, wow, that's crazy. I get to see myself living out my 20s and 30s. And that's as long as the internet's up, as long as I still have the files that I have, but things could happen, whatever. But that is why I originally started creating content. I wanted to make these video diaries to myself, make these stories and show myself how I'm progressing creatively, because that is something I really cared about as a hobby. That is something I've always cared about. Realistically, when I was in high school, I was also making content. When I was in middle school, I was making content. I was filming YouTube videos with my friend and we had our own little joint channel. And then I get to high school and I focus more on my own main channel. And then that turned into creating another channel, which is the channel that we are now on. I've always just had this go at content, and there have been other things that have come and gone. There are other things that have been gone. It's crazy to me to think that this is something that is still around. This is something that is consistent, and this is something that will continue to still be around because this is the hobby that I truly do love. Right. And you know, when they say if you love what you do, it doesn't ever feel like a job. And I think for me, that concept kind of jaded me a little bit because I felt like, well, yeah, I'm not working a job. I'm just creating content and having fun and doing what I like to do. But in that, I started to be like, oh, I could do what I love to do and make an income off of it, and also like help my life to help me further make content, to help me continue to buy more cameras, to continue to buy more lighting equipment, all these kinds of things or whatever, or things that I wasn't super conscious of in the beginning. Like I've always been conscious of it and I always knew you could make money and you could do this. But this last year, for real, I experienced hella growth. Like not even this last year, over the last 2 years, I've grown my community by 300% compared to where it was. Once I saw that, it also made me really scared in a sense. And this is where the imposter syndrome really started to kick in for me. When I started to get subs, when I got my first 1,000 subs, I was gassed. I was so stoked. It was unreal. It felt very unreal. And then in the background of that, I was sitting there most days waiting for the numbers to dip back down and for me to just lose hundreds of followers overnight. And I just felt like people were going to catch on to the fact that, not saying, this is kind of hard to explain, but I didn't think people were sticking around just to stick around like everyone was a spam bot. But I think that in the way that I was growing, it felt a little spammy. When that happened, I thought that I was just gonna start to lose subscribers at a substantial rate because people didn't really like my content. I talk about this so often with people around me, is that I just feel like my content is not good enough. People don't actually like it. People are kind of giving me like sympathy likes or something. And I don't know why I feel like that. Like, I literally don't know why I feel like that, because I really enjoy it. I think sometimes I'm very hard on myself because I have this sense of imposter syndrome. Like, I feel like no one can like the content that I'm putting out or something because it's not actually good. It's just like fake good. They're gonna catch on and realize I'm not as good as I think that I am or something. And that is completely delusional. Since I've had this podcast, I've told you guys a lot of thoughts that I really be standing in, but this thought process to me was my first time where I was like, you're dead ass delusional. Like, that is actually insane. I don't think it's insane to think that people could spam follow you and you could lose followers overnight, and some people are just watching your content to watch your content. But like, I do think it's crazy to think that every single person, or for me, it was like 1 out of 3 of the people who would subscribe to me, I would only think the one is the person who is actually liking the content. So everybody else, I was just like, they're gonna leave. I'm gonna drop back down to 200 subs overnight, and then I'm just gonna be in the state of sadness. And it's been such a mixed bag for me, because like I said, when I started this, it wasn't about that. It literally wasn't about any of that at all for me. It was just about making the content and having fun doing it. And it's still about making the content and having fun doing it. But now I just have expectations, and I think it's normal to grow expectations for things, because I do want to see the things that I enjoy putting my time into grow. And a way to do that in like a creative space, or when you're making things that are creative like outlets, is for people to engage with it. I really just found myself living in this place of fear and just being like, dude, it's all gonna go away tomorrow. It didn't. I've only been growing. I've only been getting more interaction. And even when I wasn't posting super consistently, even when I was feeling like my edits weren't good, even when I wasn't gaining a bunch of subscribers, when it all slowed down, the community that was built was still there. They were still there to cheer me on. They weren't telling me that things were not how they used to be. They weren't telling me that I'm really an imposter. And I don't know what that is, you know? Another example of this is I was looking at my analytics the other day, and on an average, I get about 20 to 30,000 views across my page a month. And I have like 1,000 Instagram followers and all that kind of stuff. And so for me, I always just feel like the simulation is glitching. I can't believe that people are actually engaging with my content. But I see the numbers, you know, it's one of those things where like I am seeing the numbers in person. I'm seeing where the engagement's coming from. I'm seeing where the traction's coming from, where the traffic's coming from. I see people share my things. I am seeing people follow me, unfollow me, do all this. And so it's just kind of like, dude, you were growing. You're doing what you said you were going to do. You're putting in the time and the effort. And that, I think, is the craziest thing to me, is somehow in my brain, it doesn't click for me that if you put more effort in, like, more people will see. If you put more effort in, you will grow because you're putting more stuff out. And it's literally a direct correlation. Like, some people spam put out, but like, I think my content pretty quality that I put out. And if it's not, I try not to put it out the best ways that I can. Just knowing that, it was just very crazy to me. I was like, why do you feel like such an imposter? Like, why do you feel like you don't deserve these things? Why do you feel like you don't deserve to grow? Why are you scared? And this is something that I've talked about so much with people around me, and like even my coworkers and things that like find my content and they tell me it's like really good, and they tell me they're really proud of me and stuff. I am so scared to give something my whole try because I feel like I'm not I'm gonna wake up and everyone's gonna tell me you're actually not good. We were just giving you sympathy claps. Maybe that's for me growing up in a generation where people got like 6th and 7th place participation trophies and feeling like that's just how the rest of the world is. Realistically, the internet's mean. Like, the internet is very mean. The world can be very mean. And I don't think that every person that's subscribed to me or every person that watches any of my content or interacts or leaves me comments is just giving me sympathy votes. And that is the true thing. That's the one thing that makes me feel the most like an imposter. This is one of the things that I think that I still have to grow in as a person. Very specifically, I'm going to try and work on that this year, is really just living in the truth of like who I am and where I'm at. I've been putting a lot of work into planning, a lot of work into editing, filming, making schedules, trying to put out shorts 3 to 4 times a week and doing all this stuff. And from that, I do expect to grow. I don't have any expectations on what numbers and analytics will look like, because this is the first year that I am honestly going to give it my damnedest of a try. I'm not going to try and make excuses and say why I'm not here or anything like that. I'm going to try and show up as actively as I can, because I'm really tired of feeling imposter-like. I'm really tired of feeling like I don't deserve the accolades that I'm getting. I don't deserve the numbers and the people who are building a community with me. I've just been doing this so long, and the thing that's been holding me back is literally myself. The thing that's been holding me back is literally just being anxious and feeling like it can't happen for me, I guess. And I think that's really important to share with you guys, because I always come on here and I'm like, you deserve everything. You can do everything. And I truly believe that. I believe you can do and deserve everything that you put your efforts into. And I got to start living in that too. I live in it for the most part, but I feel like I don't live in it in this space where it kind of matters the most. Real life, it really does matter the most that I feel the best here, because this is what I want to do. And this is what I want to feel the best in. And I don't think that it's fair to yourself to show up every day and to dedicate time to something every day, and you work and work and work and put in all this time and effort, and the issue on the bottom hand is that you feel like people aren't seeing you enough. You feel like it's not good enough. And then you start abandoning yourself. And I don't think that's ever cool. I never want to be the person to abandon myself. I never want to show that I'm the person to abandon myself or anything like that, because there's always somebody watching you. There's always somebody looking up to you to keep going and to keep pushing. And even if it's not someone outwardly, the person inside of you, the little you, the person who you do all this kind of stuff for to make sure that they're happy with the person you grew up to be, they're watching. And it matters. It matters so much. I don't know if any of you guys go through imposter syndrome. I've been listening to podcasts and reading about it, and there's so many different ways that you can feel imposter syndrome. And I always went through this thing of not thinking I felt like that, or like I had an imposter syndrome type of mentality, because I didn't feel it in the very generic ways that people explain it. But then when someone broke it down of a way that they feel like they have imposter syndrome, I was like, oh, I feel like that too. Don't feel like an imposter. Don't feel like an imposter unless you are an imposter. And if you are, work on that. But don't feel like an imposter. You know, you deserve the things that you're working for. So I guess always just keep that in mind. But if you guys ever feel like that, or if you guys want to share experiences that you've had, I would love to listen to them. I feel like that's how people get through things and feel a sense of community. So moving into our You're Delusional. Our You're Delusional topic today is coming from a old TED Talk clip. If I can find the clip, I will insert it here.
A student who had not talked in class the entire semester, who I had said, look, you gotta participate or else you're gonna fail, came into my office. I really didn't know her at all. And she came in totally defeated, and she said, I'm not supposed to be here. She is supposed to be here. Like, she can fake it, she can become it. So I was like, Yes, you are. You are supposed to be here, and tomorrow you're gonna fake it, you're gonna make yourself powerful, you're gonna go into the classroom, and you are gonna give the best comment ever, you know? And she gave the best comment ever, and people turned around, they were like, oh my God, I didn't even notice her sitting there, you know? She comes back to me months later, and I realized that she had not just faked it till she made it, she had actually faked it till she became it. So she had changed. And so I want to say to you, don't fake it till you make it. Fake it till you become it.
So I watched this whole TED Talk, and there are a lot of people who feel a couple of ways from when I watched this in college, we were talking about it. Some people feel as if you faking it till you become it is not necessarily the best mind state to have, because it leads people into these imposter-like situations. It leads people to act and to be someone that they're not. And while I do get that, I think that's a little delusional. I think that this lady who is speaking in this TED Talk, she is talking about how you really have to believe in yourself. I talk to you guys a lot about manifesting and stuff, and I think that this is one of the best examples of what I mean. Sometimes you got to put in the hours, put in the reps, and you will become that thing. For me, content creation, I told people I was a content creator. I acted like a content creator. I be posting my cameras up, doing all this stuff, and telling myself in my mental, I cannot think about what people think about me recording myself right now, because I know where I want to be. I know who I want to be, and I will get there. And the way that I did that was I had to fake it till I became it. When I had 10 subs, when I had no followers, I was still telling people I am a content creator, because I knew that that's what I would be. I knew that that is what I wanted to be, and I would be damned if the only thing stopping me from being the best version of myself was myself. Speaking on what she said, I definitely do think that sometimes you gotta fake it until you become it. Sometimes you have to react, and you have to tell people, and you have to really go full in. This is what you're doing. I'm not saying to do that and then don't be doing anything else behind it. You can't tell someone, oh yeah, I'm a singer, and you've never sung a day in your life, but you want to become a singer. You know, I think stuff like that. But if you were someone who is doing something, if you were someone who, let's say, is painting, and you want to become the world's most famous painter one day, I think that if you were sitting at home practicing painting and somebody asks you on the streets what you do, it's perfectly fine to say, oh, I'm a painter. Go off. That's what you want to do. I love that for you. And I love that energy. You're saying that you are something. You are speaking that into existence. So I completely agree with what she's saying. And I think that the people who believe that it's fake, I think that's a little delusional. I definitely do. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you've ever seen this TED Talk. It's a really good TED Talk if you haven't seen it. She hit some good stuff on the good little points head. Moving forward into our what we watching. I have been watching lately. Well, hold on. Let me backtrack. Guys, I finished Scandal. Wasn't really, I feel like they could have kept that whole last season, to be honest. But that's not super important. I watched this movie with Keanu Reeves in it and Ice-T, and it is called Johnny, I believe it's Johnny Mnemonic. And it's basically a movie that is about the future and about how people transfer data across. And this is how people get like updates, and you can get this sickness and all this kind of stuff. And the movie was kind of tea. I can't lie to you. I think that it gives me that very big nostalgia of just what movies were. This movie came out before Keanu Reeves was in The Matrix, but it has a very Matrix heavy feeling to it. And one thing about him, he is going to put himself in some type of dystopian techie future, whatever, some type of like make-believe fantasy world, and I love that for him. I've never seen Ice-T with hair longer than his ponytail that he be having in Law & Order SVU. So seeing him in this movie was a little crazy for me, but it was really good. I love to see that he kind of plays himself, it feels like. I feel like this is very much who he is in real life, and this is just kind of what he brings to the party. So that was really good. I like the whole theme of the movie. I think that the plot could have used some work. It could have used some development, some more action into it. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid movie. If you're looking for a little 2000s nostalgia, definitely. I say 2000s. It came out in 1995, but I wasn't alive then. So for me, 2000s nostalgia. With all that being said though, guys, this brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're an audio listener, please be sure to rate the podcast up above. If you're a viewer, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know some of the things that you're watching. Let us know some things that are going on in your life that are delusional, or whatever you feel like you want to comment down below. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at TheLaTerraWare on Instagram, X, and on Facebook. And if you want to follow the production company, you can follow us at LT Legacy Productions on Instagram and on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Your Delusional podcast, and we'll see you next week. The Your Delusional podcast is produced by LT Legacy Productions and hosted by LaTerraWare.